Can we talk about Salmorejo soup? There are three things I love about it. First, it's like gazpacho, but a little more modern. The second thing is that you make the entire thing in a blender or a food processor. It's that easy. And the third thing is I serve it with toppings, so it's a little like an ice cream sundae. Let's go make some Salmorejo soup. When my friend Miguel Flores Viana told me about Salmorejo, I'd never even heard of it. I thought, now that sounds like something I'd like to make. So it's basically pureed soup, and it's thickened with bread, and lots of flavors like gazpacho. So I'm starting with 2 pounds of tomatoes. Now, there aren't a lot of ingredients in this dish, so you really want to start with good ingredients. These are from a farm. Just choose the best ripe tomatoes you can find. They'll really make a difference. So I'm just throwing all of the ingredients into the food processor, or you can use a blender, and then I'm just going to puree them all together. I love this for entertaining because actually it's even better if you make it a little in advance and leave it in the refrigerator and all the flavors blend together. And it's so refreshing in the summer. Just when the tomatoes are ripest is when it tastes the best. You need a big food processor for this. So that's the tomatoes. Now I'm just going to add some bread, and it's going to thicken it a little bit. So just 1 big slice of bread. It's about 2.5 ounces. Just chop that up too. Since it's all going to be pureed, it doesn't matter how you cut it. Just pile that in. Whoa, this is a big one. Okay, and then 1/2 cup of chopped red onion. Give it a little heat. And then 1 diced red pepper. I'm using a Holland bell pepper. A little sweetness. Is this all going to fit in? I think it is. And 4 cloves of garlic. And you don't even have to cut them up because it's going to get pureed. Okay, I'm just going to puree this all together. I'll show you what happens. Is there an easier dish to make? Whoa! Just want to make sure everything's pureed. The garlic and the red onion, peppers, just until you can't see very many pieces in it. Okay, now I'm going to pour it into a bowl. I'm going to add olive oil and vinegar, seasonings. Just pour it right in here. Look how great this looks. Gorgeous. Okay. I just add a little bit of tomato puree, maybe about 1/4 cup, just to sort of enhance the rich flavor. 3 tablespoons of sherry wine vinegar. Just give it a little edge. And 3/4 cup of olive oil. It's a lot of olive oil, so use good olive oil. It's really like a salad, like a vinaigrette and a salad. Okay. I'm just going to whisk this in, just like that. It's going to stay whisked in. It smells great. This is a great first course for a summer dinner. Just light and refreshing, chilled. And then I'll show you, I like to serve it with all kinds of toppings. Just looks like summer, doesn't it? Okay, now I just have to season it. So I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of salt. Really depends on the tomatoes. So season it and then taste it. It's the only way to know. But that's true with everything. 1 teaspoon of pepper, just whisk it together. Just give it a taste. This is the good part of cooking. You have to taste everything. That's really good. Needs a little more salt. But then I think everything needs more salt. Okay, now I'm going to chill this for a couple of hours, and it'll get nice and cold. All the flavors will blend. In the meantime, I think I'll take a walk in the garden. So I need some fresh basil for my Salmorejo. You think I have enough basil here? That's like crazy basil. But good. Oh, the sounds of summer. Little police action in East Hampton. Oh, you know what would be nice? I have yellow tomatoes over there. I think maybe I'll put them on. Since it's a tomato soup, it'd be nice to have some contrasting tomato thing. So just a couple of them. The plant doesn't look so good, but the tomatoes are delicious. let's see, 4, maybe 5 of them. I love these little pear tomatoes. Okay, I've got everything I need. Okay, that's 2 hours, and the Salmorejo's really chilled. And if you're OCD like me, I chilled the bowl too, so everything stays really cold. I'll show you how I serve it. Just put some Salmorejo in the bowl. Doesn't this look good? It's so thick, just so flavorful. And then I'm gonna do lots of toppings on top. So the first thing I'm gonna do is put croutons on, because I like something crunchy with something smooth. And all I did was take a white country bread, did big cubes. You can use something from the freezer that you've got left over. Olive oil in the pan, really hot. Toast the croutons, salt and pepper, easy. And they're so good. I like that crunch with something that's smooth. Okay, and then I thought, tomatoes, basil, why not? I know Salmorejo is Spanish, but this will be multicultural Salmorejo. Little Italian influence. Little julienne basil leaves. I mean, really, you can just decorate it with anything you like, but I just think this looks really pretty. Okay, and then since there are tomatoes in it, I thought I'd put some little yellow pear tomatoes that I had in my garden in it. I just want it to look delicious and fresh. You can put shrimp on it if you want to make a meal out of it. Just a couple little pear tomatoes, and then coarse salt, because of course everything has to have salt. And the last thing is a little drizzle of olive oil. It just gives it a richness, as though there's not enough olive oil in it already. But this looks really gorgeous. Now, how's that? That's like soup. That's an entire meal in one bowl. And it's so delicious. It's so much better when it sits for 2 hours, and that looks gorgeous. That's like crazy delicious. That is such a good soup. This recipe and more can be found on my website, barefootcontessa.com.